Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Now in today's theory and speculation video, I wanted to talk about the Revenant characters and why exactly are they so weak in the Mortal Kombat universe. Now I know to some this might simply be just plot armor that enables it, but I really don't want an inconvenience like plot armor and progression to drop down the credibility that the Revenant fighters do have. Many of them are extremely talented individuals, so I think by breaking down the situation we'll be able to understand why their power has dwindled so much between MK9 and of course MKX. Now for us to actually talk about the Revenants, we first need to talk about their master Quan Chi, as he's ultimately what I believe is their main source of power. Now Quan Chi as a character is many things. He's a demon of the nether realm, a traitorous and scheming individual, but most importantly he's an extremely talented sorcerer and necromancer. So unlike many fighters in the Mortal Kombat universe who are extremely skilled in hand-to-hand combat, Quan Chi relies more so on his magic and spells to do the job. So as expected, it's to be believed that he requires mana in order to conjure these spells, but obviously being a grandmaster in his field, the ability to do so is effortless, at least up to a certain extent, and this is where my theory somewhat does come into play. Now before we go into more detail about Quan Chi, let's talk about the Revenants and more so what exactly are they? Well, Revenants in the Mortal Kombat universe are spirits taken from the afterlife that have been molded and changed into whatever the Kast wishes them to be. In Quan Chi's instance with Hanzo Hasashi, Quan brought him back as a vengeful and angry spirit to chase down the first Sub-Zero, but even when the quest was over, Scorpion still retained the same aggressive attitude after it. So it's very clear that even after the Revenants achieve their goal, they have been corrupted beyond what they once were and thus do retain their very bitter attitude. And the final thing we do have to add about Revenants is that these individuals can actually continue to exist if their ties are severed to their master. So although they are rather dependent on Quan Chi's magic at first, it seems like over the course of time they can retain their form at the expense of their power. We see this in the original timeline in MK4, where Quan Chi attempts to betray Scorpion, and of course in MKX, where Quan Chi is killed by Hanzo Hasashi. Now how exactly does what I say here tie to Quan Chi? Well, Quan Chi is their summoner, so it's only natural to presume that he is their main source of power. I also believe that unlike casting his spells, summoning a Revenant requires a large amount of power. Unlike the bare skeletons he can summon, the Revenants are made up of flesh and bone, and require a lot of strength from Quan Chi, especially when they do have supernatural powers. So I do believe in this instance that Quan Chi is used like a bit of a battery, which yes might also explain why the Revenants are so weak. You see, when Quan Chi in both the old and new timeline controlled Scorpion, he had absolutely no problem sticking him on a leash and letting him go whenever he wished. However, during the end of MK9, he's no longer handling just one Revenant, but in fact 13 at one time. So as expected, this would take a lot of power and actually force him to distribute his mana and strength amongst them. So not only is his power significantly weakened, but the Revenants understandably take a hit too, as it isn't their own peak strength. Their power is in fact an extent of Quan Chi's. Now yes, this is a theory and it should be taken as a grain of salt, but to somewhat back up my point, after Shinnok is defeated not long after MK9, Quan Chi is beaten so bad he goes into hiding, and all of a sudden the cocky and arrogant attitude we've become familiar with has disappeared, and instead we have a frail and old mage. You can visibly see him struggle when you compare the flashbacks to what we see in Jax's chapter. Now why is this the case? Well, think about it. After being run out of his own fortress, out of sheer fear for his own life, Quan Chi must have manifested all of the remaining Revenants he had to protect him, and as expected this would cause him a great deal of power and pain. Now during the events of MKX, you can see that time has not been on the side of Quan Chi, as 20 years have passed, and I believe it's a rather safe assumption to make, but having those Revenants out for about 20 years has definitely taken a toll on him, as we do see him slowly dying during Scorpion's chapter. Now thus taking into account how weak he has become over the course of time, and how this has understandably dwindled his strength, it slightly makes the losses amongst the Revenants understandable. No disrespect to a character like Jax, who was able to take on a former champion of Mortal Kombat and 3 other Revenants before this, and still have energy to uppercut Quan Chi like a ragdoll, but we know for sure that that just just isn't right. Not taking anything away from Jax, but fighting the caliber of Kung Lao, Sindel, Kitana and Liu Kang and winning one after the other is very impressive, but I do not at all believe that Jax is strong enough to pull this off. So hopefully this whole power theory makes a little bit of sense, as let's be honest, we all know that the Revenants are husks of who they used to be, but we've never actually understood why they are so weak in comparison to their human selves. So hopefully this video is able to expand more on that idea. Now please do remember, this is all just a crazy theory I've put together, but I definitely wanted to make more sense out of MKX's story mode. Now yes, like I had mentioned at the very beginning, this could simply have just been put down as plot armor, but I feel like the Revenant characters deserve more than that. Even if the plot does need to progress forward with their loss, I wanted to somewhat dissect and understand the reason as to why they would have lost, and how Takeda and Jackie are able to fight off 5 Revenants at one time and still hold their own. Again, not wanting to take anything away from those characters, as I do like those characters, but standing up to these lot and still holding your own is insane, and I can understand how it may damage the credibility of certain fighters, and make some characters in particular seem overpowered, but I hope this makes a little more sense out of the Revenant situation. But yes guys, please do remember, this is all just a theory, so you know guys, don't take it as gospel, but hopefully there is some truth behind this. But yeah guys, that's basically it for this video. Now what do you think about this theory? Do you believe there's some truth behind this idea? And if so, how would you expand on the ideas I have presented here? Please do comment below, as I do want to hear what you have to say. I am genuinely intrigued, and I would like to make more sense out of the Revenant situation. But yeah guys, that's it for now. So before this video wraps up, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes, as a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. And also don't forget to tick that bell, as YouTube has a problem of my videos not appearing in your sub boxes, so by doing that it's going to help me out and most certainly help you out. So now as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.